Hello everyone, welcome back from my channel. Today we are going to do the exercises from Cambridge Primary Mathematics Workbook 3. Unit 1, Numbers to 1000. 1.1, Hundreds, Tens and Ones. Exercise 1.1. Number 1. Here is a lost row of a 100 square. Write the numbers in the next row, which is the first row of the 101 to 200 square. So, we already know that our numbers up to 100. If we finish a 100 square, what's the number we count? 101. So this question is asking us to fill in the next row that starts a brand new grid. So, we are going to write the first 10 numbers of the 101 to 200 square. Let's count and write them together. 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110. Question 2. Complete these pieces from a 1 to 1000 number strip. So, look at our number parcel. We have 112 right in the middle. Think of this like a map. If we take one step to the left, we go back by 1. What is 112 minus 1? Good, it is 111. If we take one step to the right, we count forward by 1. So we get 113. Now, what happens when we jump up or down? We change by the whole 10. If we jump up, we subtract 10. 112 minus 10 equal to 102. If we jump down, we add 10. 112 plus 10 equal to 122. So now, let's challenge ourselves with question 2b. This shape looks like a letter L. It starts at the very top with 201. Let's follow the column straight down first. Going down means we add 10 each time. Our starting number is 201. One row down, 201 plus 10 is 211. Another row down, 211 plus 10 is 221. Great. Now look at the very bottom box sticking out to the right. Moving right means we add 1. So, what is 1 more than 221? Right, it is 222. Alright, let's look at our third puzzle. Question 2c. But this time, our center number is 132. Let's find its missing neighbors together. First, let's look left and right for our ones. What is 1 less than 132? You got it, it's 131. And what comes right after 132? Moving right, we add 1, giving us 133. Now, let's look at our vertical column. Remember, jumping up or down changes the tens place. If we take a jump up, we subtract 10. What is 132 minus 10? It's 122. And if we take a jump down, we add 10. 132 plus 10 gives us 142. Question 3. Draw a representation of 316. How will it show the value of each digit? So this is the learner's own answer, and you can show 316 in your way. And this is my answer. Question 4. What 3-digit numbers are represented below? So, first, let's look at these big flat square blocks. These are our hundreds blocks. Let's count them. 1, 2. Since we have 200 blocks, that gives us a value of 200. Next, let's count how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tens equal 40. So, we write a 4 right in the middle in our tens place. Finally, look at the very end. We have these cute tiny little cubes. These are our ones blocks. Let's count them. 1, 2. That means we have 2 ones. Let's write a 2 in our 1 place. So now the answer will be 242. Question B. Look at all these beautiful stars on our chart. The chart is divided into 3 groups, hundreds, tens, and ones. To find our secret 3-digit number, we just need to count the stars in each column from left to right. So let's do it together. First, let's look at our hundreds column, marked as hundreds. Let's count the stars inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Since we have 5 stars here, it means we have 500. Now, let's check the middle column for our tens. How many stars do you see? Right, it's just one single star. So, one star in the tens column has a value of 10. So, we write a 1 next to our 5. Finally, let's jump over to our ones column. Let's count these stars, 1, 2, and 3. 3 stars means we have 3 ones. Let's write down a 3 at the very end. So now the answer will be 513. Question 5. What is the value of the ring digit in each 3-digit number? First number is 164, and the digit 1 is ring. Let's look at its position. We have 4 ones, 6 tens, and 100. Because that 1 sits right in the 100 place, its true value is 100. So let's write down 100. Now let's look at the second one, 350. So this time the digit 5 has a ring around it. Let's check its position. We have 3 hundreds, 1 10, and 5 ones. Since the 5 is sitting at the very end in the ones place, its value is just 5. Let's go ahead and write 5 on the line. And the next one is 452. The digit 4 is wearing the ring. Let's look at where it lives. It's in the hundreds place, so we write 400s. The next one is 237. This time, the ring is around the 7 at the very end. That's a ones place, so its value is 7 ones. Next, 128. The digit 2 is ring right in the middle. The middle house is in the tens place. That means we have 2 tens, and we write 2 tens, 20. The last one is 381, and the 8 is ring in the middle. So we have 8 tens. Try this. Question number 6. Write the numbers in the next row of the 1 to 1000 strip. So the top row shows a perfect counting sequence from 351 all the way to 360. Our mission is to complete the very next row right underneath it. When we finish a row on a number strip, we go right back to the left side to start the next line, just like reading a book. What number comes right after 360? Yes, 361. Let's write 361 in the box. From here, we just count forward by ones as we move to the right. Let's count together. 362, 363, 364, 365, 366, 367, 368, and 369, and 370. Question 7. Draw beads on each abacus to show each 3-digit number. So in the box, we can see that for hundreds, there are 300. For tens, there is 70, and for ones, there is 5. So we put 3 beads on the 100 spike, and we put 7 beads on the 10 spike, and we put 5 beads on the 1 spike. And for the next one, we can see that there is 797. So we put 7 beads on the 100s, 9 beads on the 10s, 7 beads on the 1 spike. Question 8. Which 3-digit number is represented on each abacus? So we can see that there is 1 bead in the hundreds column and it equals to 100. And there are 5 beads in the tens column and it equals to 50. And there are 2 beads in ones column and it equals to 2. So the answer is 152. And the next one, we can see that there are 4 beads in the 100s column, and there are 6 beads in the tens column, and there are 3 beads in the ones column, and the answer will be 463. Write this 3-digit number in ones. So to find the secret number, we have to look for the shader box in each row and combine their values. So we can see that the number 700 is shaded, the number 50 is shaded, and the number 3 is shaded. So combining these values gives a 3-digit number 753. So if we written out in word form, the answer will be 753. Challenge. Question number 10. Complete these pieces which come from the 1 to 1000 number strip. So look at this big U shape. We only have one single clue to work with, the number 500 up in the top right corner. So let's follow the right column straight down first. We start at 500. One row down, 500 plus 10 will be 510. Another row down will be 520. Now we have to travel along the bottom floor to the left. Moving left means we count backward by ones. So we step left from 520 is 590. Another step left is 518. And one less than 518 is 517. So let's climb up one floor from 517. 517 minus 10 is 507. Now let's make our final jump to the very top box. 507 minus 10 will be 497. Alright, look at this puzzle. We only have one number to help us find all 10 missing boxes, 899. So let's take a single step to the right from 899. Remember, moving right means adding 1. Where is 899 plus 1? Yes, it's 900. Starting at 900, let's jump up one row. 900 minus 10 will be 890. 890 minus 10 will be 880. Let's go back to our 900 box and head down to finish this column. So one step down from 900 will be 910. One more down will be 920. And 899 minus 1 is 898. So from 898, we have to jump up to get 888. And we can jump one more box and we'll get 878. So now we go down from 898 by adding 10. So one step down will be 908. And one more step down will be 918. Question 11. Write the missing numbers on each one. So we can see that the number in the tens place increases by 1 each time. So this means we are counting forward by tens. So let's keep counting by tens from 177, 187, 197, 207, 217, 227, 237, and 247. So for this one, let's look right after 422 and move forward toward the tail by adding 10. So that will be 432 and 442. Now we have to look backward from 422 all the way to the worm's head. So we have to subtract 10 for each step. So that will be 412, 402, 392, 382, and 372. So in this one, we can see 3 consecutive numbers. In the middle, 763, 773, and 783. So we have to count forward by tens from 783. So that will be 793, 803, 813, and 823. And we have to count backward by tens from 763. So that will be 753, 743, and 733. Question 12. Read along each row to find 3-digit numbers. And read down each column to find another 3-digit numbers. Write each number in words. So when I read across, that will be 546, 318, and 972. And when we read down, that will be 539, 417, and 682. Question 13. When you have 2 different digit cards, you can make 2 different 2-digit numbers. So when you have 3 different digit cards, you must be able to make 3 different 3-digit numbers. So is Aaron correct? How do you know? Aaron is not correct. With 2-digit cards, for example 1 and 2, you can make 2-digit numbers 12 and 21. With 3-digit cards, example 1, 2, and 3, you can make 6 3-digit numbers 123, 132, 213, 231, 312, and 321. 1.2. Comparing and ordering. Exercise 1.2. Number 1. Complete these pieces which come from the 1000 square. So, look at this number cross. It looks like a puzzle, but it's actually a magic trick for counting. So let's start right in the middle with the number 119. First, let's look at our neighbors on the left and right. When we move sideways, we are just changing the tens place by 10. So, if we take 10 away, we get 180. If we add 10 more, we get 200. Now, what happens if we go up and down? If we jump up, we subtract 100. So 190 minus 100 leaves us with just 90. If we jump down, we add 100. So 190 plus 100 will give 290. Let's try another one. This time, our starting number right in the middle is 230. So, if we hop to the left, we subtract 10. So 230 minus 10 gives us 220. If we hop to the right, we add 10. So 230 plus 10 will give 240. Now, going up and down changes our hundreds place by 100. So, if we jump up, we subtract 100. So 230 minus 100 will give 130. And if we jump down, we add 100. So 230 plus 100 will give to 230. Alright, here is our next puzzle. So starting number in the middle is 350. So first, let's look at left and right. So if we slide to the left, we subtract 10. So that will be 340. If we slide to the right, we add 10. So that will be 360. So now we jump up. When we jump up, we subtract 100. So that will be 250. And if we jump down, we add 100. So that will be 450. So now you know that if we move side to side, changes by 10. And if we move up and down, changes by 100. Question number 2. Compare these numbers and complete the sentences. So now we are going to compare two different numbers using a place value chart. So let's find out which number is bigger and why. First, let's look at our very first row to see what our first number is. We have 2 hundreds, 4 tens, and 9 ones. Put them together and that makes 249. Now, let's look at the second row. We have 100, 7 tens, and 3 ones. So, when we put those digits together, we get 173. So, to compare them, we always start by looking at the biggest value box first, the hundreds column. Look at that. The first number has 2 hundreds, but the second number only has 100. Since 200 is more than 100, we already know our answer without even looking at the tens or ones. So, we can complete our sentences like this. 173 is less than 249, or 249 is greater than 173. So remember that when comparing our numbers, we have to always check the hundreds place first. Question number 3. Write the statements in question 2 using the symbols less than and greater than. So now from the question 2, we know which number is bigger, so now we try to use these symbols instead of writing the words greater than and less than. Think of these symbols like a hungry alligator's mouth. So when the alligator is super greedy, its mouth always open wide and to eat the bigger number. So let's think about our first sentences. 173 and 249. Since 249 is a bigger number, the alligator's mouth opens up wide toward 249. And we read this from left to right as 173 less than 249. And for the second sentence, 249 is greater than 173. So the alligator mouth opened up wide to the bigger one. So we can read this from left to right. That will be 249 greater than 173. Question 4. Order these numbers from smallest to greatest. So when we look for the smallest number, we have to check how many digits each number has. So let's look at them. We have some 3-digit numbers and some 2-digit numbers. So naturally, 2-digit numbers are smaller than 3-digit numbers. So let's look at our two-digit numbers first. So we can see 79 and 64. Between 64 and 79, which one has fewer tens? Of course, 64 only has 6 tens, while 79 has 7 tens. So that means 64 is our smallest number. So let's write 64 in our very first blank. And right next to it is our two-digit number 79. And now we are left with three-digit numbers 327, 236, and 142. So to order this, let's look at the hundreds place first. 3, 2, and 1. We have 300s, 200s, and 100s. So let's find which one is the smallest. Of course, 100 is the smallest. So let's write 142 first. And after that, which one is smallest? 2. So let's write 236. And the last one, the greatest one, is 327. So the answer will be 64, 79, 142, 236, and 327 from smallest to the greatest. Question 5. Estimate the value of each number marked on the number line. So let's look at our number line. It starts from 0 and goes all the way up to 1000. So in between go 100, 200, 300, and so on. So let's look at the first box. It is between 200 and 300, and it is around in the middle of them. So we can write it is range 240 to 260. So let's look at the second box. It's sitting just a tiny bit past that 500 mark. So the target range is around between range 505 to 520. So let's look at the last box. The arrow is pointing just a little bit before the 900 mark. So the target range here is 870 to 890. Practice. Question number 6. Use a symbol of less than and greater than to write two inequalities about these numbers. Let's look at our table first. In the first row, we can see that 4 hundreds, 5 tens, and 6 ones. So when we write together, that will be 456. And in the second row, we can see 4 hundreds, 6 tens, and 5 ones. So when we combine together, that will be 465. Remember, when we compare them, we have to check the biggest place value first, the hundreds column. But both numbers have a 4 in the hundreds place. They are exactly the same. So, what do we do now? Don't worry, if the hundreds are a tie, we just take one step to the right and look at the tens column. Let's compare the tens. The first number has 5 tens, but the second number has 6 tens. Since 6 tens is bigger than 5 tens, we already know that 465 is the greater number. So we can write 456 less than 465 and 465 greater than 456. Question 7. Order these numbers from greatest to smallest. So let's find our biggest number first. Since 3-digit numbers are always bigger than 2-digit numbers, let's look at our 3-digit number first. So we have three 3-digit numbers, 968, 689, and 896. So to find the greatest one, we check the hundreds place first. We have 9, 6, and 8. So we already know that 9 is the biggest one. So we can write 968 for our greatest number, after that 896, and after that 689. And then we move for 2-digit numbers. So we have two 2-digit numbers, 98 and 96. So they both have 9 tens. It's a tie. Let's move to the ones place. So we have 8 ones and 6 ones. Since 8 is bigger than 6, 98 comes next, leaving 96 as our absolute smallest number at the very end. Okay, so now the answer will be 968, 896, 689, 98, 96 from the greatest to the smallest number. Question 8. Mark the numbers from question 7 on the number line. So we can see the number line start from 0 goes all the way up to 1000. So we have to use the numbers from question 7, 968, 698, 98, 69, and 896 to mark on the number line. This is the answer. Challenge. Question number 9. Compare these numbers. Write some inequalities using less than or greater than. So let's look at the table, and we have 3 rows. For the first row, we have 500, 7 tens, and 4 ones. So that will be 574. And for the second row, we have 700, 5 tens, and 3 ones. So when we write together, that will be 753. And for the last row, we have 500, 4 tens, and 7 ones. So when we write together, that will be 547. So we already know that 753 is the greatest number. After that, 574 is the second greatest number. And 547 will be the smallest number. So we can write the inequalities like this. 753 greater than 574, 547 less than 753, 574 less than 753, or 574 greater than 547, 547 less than 574, or 753 greater than 547. Question number 10. Yusuf looks at the place value grid in question 9 and writes 547 less than 753 greater than 574. 753 less than 547 less than 574. So write some more inequalities like those written by Yusuf. 574 greater than 547 less than 753. 547 less than 574 less than 753. 574 less than 753 greater than 547. 753 greater than 574 greater than 547. Question 11. What could the missing digit be in each of these inequalities? So the first one is 634 less than 6 blank 1. So you can write any number that will give bigger than 634. The second one is 765 greater than blank 83. So also you can put any number that will give smaller than 765. The third one is 257 greater than 25 blank. So you can write any number that will give smaller than 257. The fourth one is 372 less than blank 72. So you can put any number that will give greater than 372. Question 12. Order the heights of these towers from shortest to tallest. So you can see in the table name of tower, location, and height in meters. Let's look at the heights. So we have 462, 442, 828, 452, 632, and 555. So let's read our finished list of heights from shortest to the tallest together. 442, 452, 462, 555, 632, and 828. Question 13. Write the digits 1 to 9 anywhere in the grid. Read across and down the grid to find 6 three-digit numbers. Mark each number on the number line. So, when we read across, that will be 125, 255, and 824. And we can mark on the number line. And when we read down, that will be 128, 252, and 554, and we can mark on the number line. 1.3. Estimating and rounding. Exercise 1.3. Number 1. Estimate how many stars there are in the box. Around 100 to 200 stars. Question number 2. Estimate how many grains of rice are on the middle spoon. So for the first spoon, there are around 100 to 200, and for the third spoon, there are around 400 to 600 grains. So for the middle one, there are around 200 to 400 grains. Question number 3. Round each number to the nearest 10. So for 271, when we round to the nearest 10, that will be 270. And for 138, when we round to the nearest 10, that will be 140. And for 397, when we round to the nearest 10, that will be 400. And for 404, when we round to the nearest 10, that will be 400. Question number 4. Round each number to the nearest 100. So for 164, when we round to the nearest 100, that will be 200. For 325, when we round to the nearest 100, that will be 300. For 449, when we round to the nearest 100, that will be 400. And for 250, when we round to the nearest 100, that will be 300. Practice. Question number 5. Class 3 use this table to check their estimates of the number of beans in different plastic bags. Number of beans, mass of beans: 105 grams, 210 grams, 315 grams, 420 grams, 525 grams, 630 grams, 735 grams, 840 grams, 945 grams, 1050 grams. A. Samira estimated that her plastic bag had 300 to 400 beans. They weigh 18 grams. Is it a good estimate? Yes, the mass of 18 grams is between 15 grams and 20 grams for Samira's 300 to 400 grams. Question B. Petrol's beans weigh 31 grams. What range would be a good estimate for his beans? 500 to 700 beans or 600 to 700 beans would be a good estimate. Question 6. Round each amount to the nearest $10. So for $537, when we round to the nearest $10, that will be $540. And for $772, when we round to the nearest $10, that will be $770. And for $695, when we round to the nearest $10, that will be $700. And for $808, when we round to the nearest $10, that will be $810. Question 7. Round each amount to the nearest 100 kilograms. So, for 150 kilograms, when we round to the nearest 100 kilograms, that will be 200 kilograms. For 555 kilograms, when we round to the nearest 100 kilograms, that will be 600 kilograms. For 444 kilograms, when we round to the nearest 100 kilograms, that will be 400 kilograms. For 501 kilograms, when we round to the nearest 100 kilograms, that will be 500 kilograms. Challenge. Question number 8. Round the height of each tower to the nearest 10 meters and then to the nearest 100 meters. Name of tower, location, height in meters, nearest 10 meters, nearest 100 meters. Lecture center, St. Petersburg, height in meters is 462. When we round to the nearest 10 meters, that will be 460, and when we round to the nearest 100 meters, that will be 500. For Willis Tower in Chicago, the height is 442, and when we round to the nearest 10 meters, that will be 440 meters, and when we round to the nearest 100 meters, that will be 400 meters. Burj Khalifa in Dubai, height in meters is 828, and when we round to the nearest 10 meters, that will be 830 meters, and when we round to the nearest 100 meters, that will be 800 meters. Petronas Tower 1 in Kuala Lumpur is 452 meters, and when we round to the nearest 10 meters, that will be 450, and when we round to the nearest 100 meters, that will be 500 meters. Shanghai Tower in Shanghai, The height in meters is 632 meters, and when we round to the nearest 10 meters, that will be 630 meters, and when we round to the nearest 100 meters, that will be 600 meters. The T1 tower in Seoul. The height is 555 meters, so when we round to the nearest 10 meters, that will be 560 meters, and when we round to the nearest 100 meters, that will be 600 meters. Question 9. Which towers are the same height when their heights are rounded to the nearest 100 meters? Shanghai Tower and La T1 Tower, Lecter Center and Petronas Tower 1. Question 10. Sarah rounds a number to the nearest 10 and then to the nearest 100. Her answer both times is 500. What could her number be? So, her number could be 495, 496, 497, 498, 499, 500, 501, 502, 503, and 504. Question 11. Follow the rounding instructions. What do you notice about the results of rounding to 100? So, in the table you can see 322, 645, 809, 216, 448, 747, 558, and 178. So, when we round this table to the nearest 10, that will be 320, 650, 810, 950, 220, 450, 750, 560, and 180. And when we round this table to the nearest 100, that will be 300, 600, 800, 1000, 200, 400, 700, 600, and 200. And when we round this table to nearest 100, that will be 300, 700, 800, 1000, 200, 500, 800, 600, and 200. So, from those tables, you can see that rounding to the nearest 10 and then to the nearest 100 can give different results compared to rounding to the nearest 100. Question 12. In a shop, all prices are rounded to the nearest $10. Would all the customers be happy about the changes in price? Customers who pay less than before the rounding will be happy. Customers who pay more than before the rounding will not be happy.